There's some interesting shit going on. I don't know about him, but I definitely want to hang out with that dog. Just me. You guys are a lot of fun. You guys ready for more show? This next comic, I love working with him on forums all over New England. He just recently opened up for Lenny Clark. Guys, put your hands together. Very funny. Pat McLoud!
Keep it going for Jeremy, everybody. I know that I look very abductable. I'm actually 38 years old, and looking younger is difficult for me, especially when I go out to restaurants with my wife. Because when the waiter comes over, the waiter always asks my wife if she wants a drink. And if I want a box of crayons. And I have to apologize to all of you tonight. I was in a really bad car accident, so I almost didn't get to the show. I was driving down 95 South, and an Uber came out of nowhere and just sideswiped my big wheel. And give it up for me, too, because I just got out of the joint. I just did 20 years in federal prison, so give it up for me, Providence. Come on. Yeah. I asked my cellmate what he was in for. He said, first-degree murder. I said, murder? He said, yeah, what are you in for, kid? I said, ripping a tag off a pillow at Kohl's. I've had a lot of interest. I'm driving down to the show tonight. I passed a funeral that had a sign on it that said, basic cremation. And I thought about this. As opposed to what? A deluxe cremation? Can you imagine that phone call? Yeah, hi, Bob. Yeah, we added some sparkling glitter to your wife. You can come pick her up this afternoon. We got her looking like a disco ball. I've had a lot of interesting jobs to keep myself being a comedian. Like, I used to work as an orderly in a hospital, in the operating room, and the doctors would send me to go pick up their patients. And sometimes the patients would ask me questions, and I'd have to politely answer them. Like, I remember this one time, this sweet little old lady, and wheeling her into pre-op, and she leans back on her stretcher, and she says to me, is this my last ride? I said, probably. You're right here, lady. Thanks, Aaron. Aaron likes the cremation stuff. But, like, now I have a new job now. I still work in the hospital, but I'm in charge of all the material supplies that go up into the operating room. And the biggest challenge that we have to deal with was expired products that might end up in a patient. And just the other day, my boss called me to the office, and she says to me, hey, Pat, got a phone call. An expired product almost ended up in a patient. I've told you this, we need to work on this. Then she gives this line to me. Imagine if it was one of your own family members on the operating room table. And I'm like, well, which one? Because I really have an aunt that I don't really care for. I got a couple of family members that I wouldn't mind getting rid of, you know what I'm saying? Just celebrated 7 years of marriage. Woo! Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, my wife and I went out of the country. We were in Atlantic City. It's great to be back in the United States. That's all I'm saying. And I'm saying like this right now. Like, and my wife and I have been watching that show, The Last of Us. I saw a couple of those clippers on the boardwalk. I'm not even kidding you. They're like coming out of the Tropicana, at least 4 of them. And they're coming to Providence. I know it, everybody. Thank you. My wife and I mentioned 7 years of marriage, and we actually, write this down. This is going to work for you. The guys on the right. So, like, what do you do on your anniversary? Like, gotta have sex, right? But, like, we're already planning it out. We're like, oh, we're going to, like, Ward's Steakhouse. Like, we're gonna have steak, au gratin potato, right? Like, dessert, martinis. We're like, we can't do both, right? So this is what we have what we call matinee sex, right? Ocean View in Atlantic City, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you're done at 1:05, you have the rest of the day to do whatever you want. Gambling. attracted to me? Chubby girls that work at TD Bank. I mean, they know how much money I have, which is nothing. I'm a struggling comic, but every time I try to go in there, they try to seduce me. They're like, hey, Pat, would you like to make a deposit? I'm like, not you. First thing I'm doing is making a withdrawal. I gotta get out of here. I was watching Titanic on TV the other day. A lot of say, hey, John Ed. You mentioned Titanic. And remember when the Titanic hit the iceberg and all the passengers were running and screaming for their lives? Well, while this was happening, the musicians continued to play while the Titanic was plunging into the ocean. I'm a bit of a history buff, these problems, but I'm going to tell you this. Did you know that there was a stand-up comic on board the Titanic when it was going down? I'd like to take us back to 1912 on that night. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Please keep your table screaming down to a minimum. Sir, where are you staying? First class? You're kidding me. Your wife looks like she's from third. I'll tell you this. Did you guys try the salad dinner before the show tonight? Boy, I hear that iceberg was to die for. I know you're out there. I can hear you screaming. The captain wanted me to do 45, but we're not going to be here in 45. Don't forget, it's a 2-drink minimum. Don't forget to tip your waitress. She fell over. But then, I love meeting celebrities too. That's what I love to go do. And I actually met Charlie Sheen in Atlantic City. And I went up to him. He's playing a slot machine. I said, "Hey man, how'd you even can I ask you a question?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "How did you even contract HIV?" He said, "Between 2.5 men." Hey, that's my time. We're back in Germany. Hey, thanks so much, everybody. Let's give it out.
Give it go for Pat McLoud. Give it go for that laugh over here. It's that laugh. What's going on? I was in the back. I was like, what the fuck is happening? Someone tickling someone in the crowd? You guys are a lot of fun. We're going to keep this show rolling. Next comic coming to the stage, new face on the scene, making a lot of noise. Put your hands together. Very funny, Morgan Steele.